What the impatient radical forget is that many of the injustices of the traditional primate society were not even perceived as such by the best minds of 1000 years ago or 100 years ago, or in the case of institutionalized sexism, even 30 years ago. If we can see injustice and absurdity in many age-old institutions, it is only because we are evolving out of robothood at precisely the point in evolution when it is necessary for us to become smarter and more sensitive to all circuits. Each of us has a favorite circuit. That is a circuit that has been more heavily imprinted than the others. Miscommunication, misunderstanding, and general misjudgment of one another is vastly increased by the fact that few of us know about this level of circuitry. And we all tend to assume that the person we are interacting with is on the same circuits we are. Thus, there are narcissistic, oral, first circuit types in every social group. Present them with a problem and they will immediately look for somebody else to handle it, since the oral stage is robotically imprinted for dependency. Or if they have imprinted hostile weakness instead of dependent weakness, they will explode into anger, infantile tantrum, raging that a problem exists and that it has been imposed to them. A second circuit type in the same situation will attempt to frighten the problem away by barking and blustering at it, mammalian fashion. A third circuit type will try to reason out the problem. This is the best approach only with problems that are themselves rational. Yet, how do you make this machine work? It can be blind and futile when the problem is another human being acting out of the more destructive second circuit rage program. The liberal is the one who leaves the room when the fight starts, somebody once said. The third circuit types are most confused and feel impotent when second circuit mammalian politics takes over the scene. A fourth circuit type will try to be rational, third circuit, and to sense the emotional dimension of the problem, second circuit, but will basically try to impose a moral solution. Now, this is the decent, fair thing to do. This might or might not make sense to the third circuit rationalist looking for objective justice, and it will usually make no sense at all to the totally second circuit type dominated by emotionalism and territoriality. What is true of the group is true of the individual. While we all have our favorite circuits and tend to see that circuit as superior to all the others, we can be pushed out of it by shocks or stresses, in which case we jump to another circuit. The most robotic rationalists will descend to the first circuits eventually, if threat to biosecurity is forcibly enough present on the screen of consciousness, and if prevented from leaving the room when the fight starts. The rationalists will even descend to the second circuit mammalian howling and barking under sufficient pressure. Oliver Wendell Holmes referred to this as the hydrostatic principle in controversy, whereby the fools drag everybody down on their own level. The most robotic emotionalists might also move up to the third circuit temporarily. If a problem remains intractable to every form of emotional bullying or non-artistry, all of us will move into fourth circuit parent role, or a superego. Even little children will do it imitatively if it seems that the only way to get what wants is to appeal to tribal morality. Why it it would be positive why it would be positively indecent not to do it the way grandfather would. My grandfather. Grand. In why it would be positively indecent not to do it the way grandfather would. Give us the child until he is 5, and we will have him for life. Bragged some 18th century Jesuit. The Jesuit order of that time, as Aldous Huxley later noted sardonically, educated Voltaire, Diderot, and Marquis de Sade. Obviously, their techniques of brain programming were not perfect. Nonetheless, most people in most societies do grow up as fairly accurate replicas of the previous generation. Most children educated by the Jesuits have remained Catholic. Most children of Democrats do not become Republicans, etc. Considering the wide variety of philosophies available to any of us, nudism and Buddhism, scientific materialism and snake worship, communism and vegetarianism, subjective idealism and existentialism, Methodism and Shinto, etc., the fact that most people remain in the same reality tunnel as their parent does indicate that acculturalization is a mind control process. We are all giants raised by pygmies who have learned to walk with a perpetual mental crutch, unleashing our full stature. Our total brain power is what this book is all about. There is a Zen story, very funny, about a monk who, having failed to achieve enlightenment, brain change, through the normal Zen methods, was told by his teacher to think of nothing but an ox. Day after day, the monk thought of the ox, visualized the ox, meditated on the ox. Finally, one day the teacher came to the monk's cell and said, "Come out here, I want to talk to you." "I can't get you out," the monk said. "My horns won't fit through the door." "Can't get out." At these words, the monk was enlightened. Never mind what enlightenment means right now. The monk went through some species of brain change. Obviously, he had developed the delusion that he was an ox, an awakening form that hypnoidal state he saw through a mechanism of all other delusion and how they robotized us. Exercises. 1. Recreate vividly imagination of your first orgasm. To what extent do you still use the same accessories, stimuli to turn you on? 2. Try to change your sexual imprint. See if you can reach orgasm by some method that has been taboo or unthinkable to you before. Imagine that you are Ref. Jerry Vowell explained to an imaginary homosexual why his sexual imprint is sinful and should be changed at once. Include instructions on how to change it. 4. Imagine that you are a gay man or lesbian. What the fuck? Explain to Ref. Vowell why you will not or cannot change your sexual imprint to please him. 5. Read Margaret Mead's Sex and Temperament in the Three Primitive Societies. Then write a 5-page proof that the taboos in our tribe make more sense objectively than the taboos of the tribes she studied. Be serious about it. 6. Choose the viewpoint of the Samoans. In Dr. Mead's books above, write a 5-page proof that their taboos make more sense than those of our societies. Be serious about it. 6. Reread the paragraph about the giraffe and the gosling. What does this tell you about your sexual imprint? What is your chip or your ping pong ball?